Good evening and welcome to NewsLink Indiana Sports. I'm KatieHargitt. Good evening and welcome to the Pit Report. I'm here with Craig Collins and Brad Huber. Within the TCOM department, I am a sports anchor on Monday nights for NewsLink. I am also talent on CSL and co-host a radio show on WCRD called The Pit Report. The Ball State baseball. I first got involved last year. I really didn't want to try out for anything. I was nervous. I didn't think I would get anything as a freshman, and was encouraged by a couple friends and a couple other TCOM students and just tried out for sports and made it. And one of the closest finishes on the Pit Report, obviously, that's all about racing. So I get to talk about racing for an hour every Thursday. Clint Boyer and Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson did come off with... I decided that if I can't race for a living, then I might as well talk about it for a living. And that's how I developed my dream to be a pit reporter. Can I go?
Yep.
It's not something every girl is into. It's addictive. I would say that you fall in love with it. I started racing when I was 9 and won 2 championships before the age of 15. Very first time I went on the track in a car, I stopped dead on the backstretch and put my head on the steering wheel and said, "It goes too fast." And I hated it, and until I won my first race, I really wasn't addicted. It's hard to find time to do what I love, and now I only race a few times a year, but I know that it's something that I want to be involved in for the rest of my life, and I want to continue talking about racing as a career. This year, Pippa Mann picked up a ride with Conquest. My parents got divorced when I was very young, and I'd always been a dancer and a cheerleader growing up, and that was an opportunity for my mom and I to bond, and my dad wanted a way for him and I to bond, and his love for racing grew into wanting me to race. So we went to a race one day, and I wasn't interested at all, but he bought me a car anyway and pretty much forced me into it. And then after I won my first race, that's when it became addicting for both of us. And it's really helped our bond grow a lot stronger. I know how to talk to him.
Just try that.
It teaches us to communicate, and there's a language that you have to learn, and a level of communication and understanding that has to be, that a lot of fathers and daughters don't get. To watch her develop from a timid little girl to somebody that can hold her own about any circumstances, I can attribute a lot of that to racing.
It's been a great way for my dad and I to spend some weekends together, to go on some mini vacations. We used to go to Florida for a national race between Christmas and New Year's, so it's always been an extra getaway for him and I, or me, him, and my sister, to just spend that extra time together. One of the biggest challenges that my dad and I have had to overcome together is that we don't come from a racing family, and a lot of people that race have their great-grandfather has raced, their great-great-grandfather has raced. So it really just started with my dad and I, and he has had to learn to work on the car, we've had to learn to communicate well, and I've had to learn how to drive from someone that never raced before me, and he has just had to tell me what he sees in everyone else and how I compare to everyone else, and that has definitely been our biggest struggle throughout the years. Within the racing world, I really look up to Lynn St. James. She was a pioneer in racing, especially for women. She has a driver development program that I've been a part of since I was 11. When I was 11 years old, she started a banquet called Women in the Winner's Circle, and it was a group of young women racers that wanted to make it big, and she made a luncheon to help us get contacts. She told us to create this elevator speech and told us how to speak, and that's how I really have been able to hold myself well around older people, around people in the racing industry. There are so many advantages to being a girl in sports, especially in a sport like racing. Sponsors, teams, careers are so much more attracted to you as a girl, especially if you're a girl and you're successful. And that has been one of the greatest opportunities for me, to be able to network with industry executives. I know that stepping off Ball State campus and getting into a race car, I can relieve all the stress of school and still carry over all the skills that I've learned in the Ball State telecommunications program. I realize that the TCOM program is really tied in with what I've learned from Lynn in the past and how I can promote myself. I don't feel like I need anyone else's help to put myself out there. It's been a great help of what I've learned from Lynn to be able to just try out for anything and just be able to have the confidence in myself that I can achieve anything that I want.